Generally, in order to warm up, as he said, right, when you put your arms together, it does. तो मैं कहता हूँ आंखों में नमी और तालियों में कमी कभी नहीं होनी चाहिए. अगर शुरू करे तो जोरदार. ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि स्टेज गूंजता नहीं है, ऑडियंस गूंजता है. So that will be a great thing. So thank you very much, Anurag ji, Hoshi ji, and everyone else who organized. मुझे दिया भी तो, you gave me heart of queens, and with tomorrow's birthday of my wife, the heart of queens is really appropriate. I refuse to exchange it with anybody. They all said exchange it, and I said no, I'll exchange it, but give me back the Queen of Hearts. I have to give it to her. Okay, thank you very much for that one. यार अभी देखो ऐसा है ना, हाथ आधा आधा मत बजाओ, अगर बजा ही रहे तो जोर से बजाओ. And I do this more because it gets everyone going, as if we are having not a conversation quite, because I am going to still be speaking, but at least it is participative in some sense. आवाज मेरी ताली आपकी. So ये जुगलबंदी होती है. Anurag, I had this big poem which I had written during the COVID time, and it said that उम्मीद को मैं छोड़ नहीं सकता और किस्मत को मैं मोड़ नहीं सकता. So when you talked about kismet, then when you talked about fluke, I realized that the last lines I wrote in that particular one is what I wanted to read out, just to say, उम्मीद में छोड़ नहीं पार्थ से जोड़ सकता हूँ. उम्मीद में छोड़ नहीं पार्थ से जोड़ सकता हूँ, और किस्मत को मैं मोड़ नहीं संगम सा जोड़ सकता हूँ. As we work very hard, we give it everything. We may need that luck in order to spring us up, but we don't need luck to make us what we can be. But if we don't do that effort, if we don't do everything, संगम सरस्वती मिल ही नहीं सकती. गंगा और जमुना को तो मिलाना पड़ेगा, तभी सरस्वती आएगी. So please always believe that you can change the world. And when you believe and when you work on it, everything else will fall in place. So to this audience, which makes companies themselves believe, individuals believe, and the whole community to come together, I think you are the changes that we all are rooting for and hoping for in the future of India Incorporated tomorrow. So please give yourself a great round of applause before I start my presentation. So those are the 2-3 things, and the last one I'll say, एक पुष्प की अभिलाषा. I read a poem when I was very young. चाह नहीं सुरबालों के गहनों में गूता जाऊं. The flower is saying, चाह नहीं देव के शीश पर चढ़ूं, अपने बाग पर इटलाऊं. मुझे तोड़ लेना वनमाली और देना उस पथ पर फेंक, मातृभूमि की शीश चढ़ाने जिस पथ पर जाए वीर अनेक. So today is about that. What is your abhilasha? इस पुष्प की क्या अभिलाषा है? और मैं कहूँ इस पुष्पा की क्या अभिलाषा है? So that abhilasha, what you carry, will come true tomorrow. Because if you pray for something, if you want to try for something with all your heart, the entire kainat will conspire to make it happen. So please dream and please make that happen. And again, give yourself a big round of applause. मेरे को ये ज्यादा पसंद ही नहीं है, अगर मतलब वो पीछे वाले जो बैठे. थैंक यू. सो थोड़ा मैं अपने लाइफ का शेयर कर लूं. सो दिस इज approved for all audiences. Viewing this may help you, but please apply this with your own discretion. So everything which happens to me doesn't need to happen to you. Yeah? Okay? So, okay. So this also says, धीरे धीरे से मेरी जिंदगी में आना, धीरे धीरे से दिल को चुराना. So just I'll go fast because there's a lot of stuff that one has to do here. Okay, this is the other way around, right? Sorry. My bad. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So, each one of us, many of us, I come from a very humble background. Okay. So, getting a second, third shirt is a big luxury. So, he never got a third shirt. He did all his career with two shirts, yeah, because that's all that he could afford with the education that he has to do. So always when you arrive, you say, "Sala, main to saab ban gaya." Okay. So and I think we can be second best to. We need not be second best to anybody. CFOs are de facto and de jure COOs of every organization. This is given. You can take something away from it, yeah, by saying, I don't want to do this. But if you play your role, you will be de facto and de jure CEO. So all you have to do is to take that small step after that into becoming a CEO. And CEO is not the be all and end all. You can go beyond. You can start your own companies as well. So I'm not stopping you at CEO, but that's the thing. So all experience are improvements in life, even the negative ones. And this is one small thing that I said, that when I did not know Hindi. Now I speak Hindi very well, but I did not know Hindi till 5th standard because I was a Tambi from Tamil Nadu who was posted to Jamnagar the first time that we learned about it. And that as it so happened, the teacher was going to teach. And सारे जो आर्मी स्कूल्स के हैं वो तो बहुत अच्छे लोग होते हैं students. So they immediately taught me that Sala means sir, and it looked logical, Sala sir. So he said, if you have to answer any question, you have to raise your hand and say Sala. So that's what I did. The moment the teacher asked the question, I put up my hand and said Sala. You know what happened after that? Okay. So and then, so it so happened that when मुझे मुर्गा बनाया गया क्लास के बाहर, I was there for 2 hours standing as murga, and the teacher was not punishing me for saying Sala because he knew I have been put up to it. He wanted me to tell who are the class guys who told you, put you up to this, and I will not rat on them. So that formed friendships, and this December we will all meet. We are in central school, so every place is average is 2 to 3 years. So this Ahmedabad gang will meet after 40 years or 50 years. We'll all meet to once again join. So this is what friendship. It lasts for a lifetime. And we have lots of acquaintance in the room. Friends are very less. So to have that kind of friendship, it's great. And if you can form that kind of friendship, it leads you for life. So that's the second attempt. So the third one is design your destiny. And this is about a Grand Slam story, and I'm kind of Anurag, just building on something that you said. And this was, I joined Ahmedabad, and there was this thing that CEOs, all the sales guys go for a Grand Slam in Xerox. And what it means is every quarter they achieve their sales target, and whoever achieves about 110% of them are all sent for a paid trip abroad. So it was called Grand Slam. So, and here I come from this, and I said, can I also go? I am a controller only, but can I also go for this Grand Slam? So they had a collection target that they set. And normally if target is set, you achieve 75, 80, this is great performance, right? And the highest till that stage was 72%. So I came and said, can I somehow do more than 100%? And I was in Ahmedabad, so I conspired with my customers. Say कि यार एक अहमदाबाद से भी कभी Grand Slam में जाना चाहिए. So even my customer used to send me money before the due date. Okay, and then that year, the collection target achievement of Ahmedabad branch was 109%. They just couldn't understand how you could beat the system that you achieve 109%. How is it possible even? But I had recognized how to do it, because if you keep your opening balance low and collect more than 65% of the current month's collection debt, then you are more than 100%. So I did exactly that, 109%, and I was sent for that honors club or that grand slam. So that was in the very first year of my operation. So if you conspire anything, if you create a mental picture, then physical picture will happen. Another time somebody said you are 5 feet 5 inches, you can't be a basketball player. I said aisi ki taisi. So I played for the school, I played for the city, I played for the zone, I played for the regional. Before I said ठीक है enough है, अभी वापस पढ़ाई पे आ जाते हैं. Okay, so you can do anything that you set up here. The next one is they made from a CFO. I was in tractors. I was a CFO of tractors, and it's 10,000 crore business, so it's nothing small. Huh? So then they told me, Anand Mahindra told me, and I had actually shortlisted a CEO for global business, which is all business outside India, and as the earlier CEO of Spring. To become the CEO of this. Anand interviewed him and came and told me ki Partha, the guy was very good, and I like your recommendation, but I like my recommendation more. And I asked him, what is your recommendation? He said, you. Who will have the passion to implement what you just now said? So please become the CEO. And here I said, if you believe in me, I'll do. And then I went in. So I set a target. He was also able to make 500 ट्रैक्टर बेचते हैं क्या कर लेगा ज्यादा नुकसान 500 ही कम करेगा ना. So there was less downside, but I saw upside in it. Can I make 500 to 50,000 and global revenue from 0 to 20-25%, something like that? Okay, so I set about doing this target, and I went and put a plan called 1 quarter, 1 year, and 1 decade plan. 1 quarter plan was, can we achieve numbers for this quarter? 1 year plan was, we'll go and start in 3 countries. Yeah? And 1 decade plan was, 3 of the people who sit in this room will become CEOs or MDs of their head. Okay? All 3 happened. And those MDs are great friends of mine today. One of them was China JV, which we acquired a company. He took over as MD. We set up organically something in Australia, and one of my colleagues became MD and then took it over. And USA is a $1 billion company. There was an MD who went from my team and took over. So all this happened. So if you put your number, 100x is not impossible. So dream and dream big, and you will achieve that. So this is a story that I talked about. I'll miss this because otherwise, Hoshi will miss me. Yeah, so he will throw me out of this room, and you will throw me before, because what I'm standing between you and is a very alluring evening, and I don't want to. So another one is that this is one thing that I learned and which you may use it. Today's skeptics of yours is tomorrow's raving fans. So don't think that your skeptics are your opposition or your enemies. They are the biggest raving fans waiting to be made up, because they are questioning what logic are you using, what cause, what purpose. And when you are able to convert them, they become your raving fans. So think about every raving fan that you have in your company. You will know they have been skeptics before. Those who readily agree with you, you know what they are. They are fair weather friends. The moment things change, they will be out. The only thing you have to remember is don't waste time of cynics. These people are not thinking about issues and disagreeing with you. They are disagreeable. So the faster you get out of that syndrome, the better you will be. Okay? So the other one that I always found that, and this is not in any book, are you ever the Nilkant? If you want Amrit for the company, and you are all doing Manthan, there will be people who will become even the rope, or they will become the churning rod. Sometimes you even hold. But there has to be one Nilkant in the organization who has to drink the poison initially, because Amrit will not come without drinking the poison. So are you the Nilkant? And if you are, then if this okay, now it's back on. So then you will very clearly be able to get a big chunk of the admiration of the organization. What you play the role as Nilkant will be remembered. Balaji is a great friend of mine, Tata, CFO. Do you think he was taken as CEO just because he's a good CFO? No. I think it was because he was a good Nilkant. When JLR happened and all this trouble was happening, he stood by and drank the poison so that the organization can benefit in the long run. I know the gory story, but I'll let it Balaji one day come and talk to you all, and then he will do it. And so think about being that Nilkant. So this is a very interesting story, and I'll stop here as the last of the stories, and then I will go to the key messages. So here was, I joined Mahindra, and I joined as a transformation agent. How to make tractor company the world number one. You have to transform it. So how will you think about transforming? And this is what I kind of, and I said, great, I come from Xerox, I'll be able to teach them. And I joined them. And what I told the leadership is that please give me one person from each division. There are about 10 of them, so 10 people will come from that. But I realized immediately that I got 10 people and I assembled all of them. And I asked them, what is your rating? So it was must improve generally. Okay. Why? Because everybody gave whoever was the guy who was surplus are not performing. So because Parthasarathy has asked for it and they had to give because it was a mandate, they gave their guys, they didn't give their best guys. They gave their must improves. So, and the going was, Partha ne Fauj banai hai. Okay, there is a Sholai's dialogue which is more derogative. I have taken that one derogative word out of it. But it is Partha ne Fauj banai. Okay? So, Thakur ne ka Partha ne Fauj banai. So, what I called them. I have a problem with the mic, on and off. Okay. So what I told them is, your past I don't care, but I care about today and future. And you and I both have the ability and aspiration to create history. So would you then not live with your past, but work with me in the future? And I said, I have a full trust in you that you never had the opportunity, and I'm going to give you the opportunity, and you're going to give me the result. What we worked on, I'll give you some of with these 10 people, what I achieved is that we achieved the Deming Prize. There were 55% contributors to the Deming Prize award. 55% of the 100 marks was under their leadership. We became world number one in tractors in the space of 5 years. And all the 10 were there when it happened. 3 of them are CEOs today of that 10. Yeah, in this. And Nikhil Soni was one of the people that we had put in one of your jury awards. He was one of them. Who started as that. I mean, he's not must improve by any chance, but he was one of the 10 who achieved this kind of thing. So what I'm saying is, ठाकुर ने जो भी फौज दिया है, हम उस फौज को दुनिया का मतलब we can make them world beaters, and that ladies and gentlemen, is what we can do. And if you do that, nobody can stop you from achieving whatever you want, whether CEO or whatever. So I keep telling that whatever I achieved is not because of me, is because of my team. And everyone says this, but in my case, it cannot be truer. Because I knew nothing about tractors, I knew nothing about Mahindra, I knew nothing about global markets. But together we achieved all that, and the zeros became heroes, the 10 of them, and they made me a hero as well in the process. So, okay, so just remember this, there is never a terrible subordinate, only a terrible boss. So if ever you say मेरा theme ठीक नहीं है, so you better rethink about what you are saying. And this story is about not mine, but Abdul Kalam, and he writes not about himself but about his boss. And when you read that story, you can share with me today. I will not share it with you because I have less time. But after this, if you want on the over drinks, I can tell you that story. Okay. Okay, and this is what one of the things that I talked to Anurag about. I was in Mumbai. I was in Cal those days. I was in Mumbai to go to Goa, and that was when Rajiv Gandhi got assassinated, and there was full Bandh, and it was when Shiv Sena calls a Bandh, then you know what happens in Bombay. So, but I had to reach Goa because there was this conference and I was a speaker in that conference and I wanted to somehow get there. So, I somehow picked up I saw a taxi on the corner and then I said, okay, let me somehow do. I took to my cab and I said, airport chaloge? And then he said, chalenge. So, I kept the luggage and I said, chale kya? So and then I already was afraid, and then when I heard this guy who was sitting in the driver's seat looked like a 6 feet giant, and what I thought is, what have I got myself into? Is he going to take me to airport or to the next round the corner and murder me? Especially because of what was going on. And then I tapped him on the shoulder, and I was literally shaking. Okay, and you have to believe that scenario when you are shaking. And then I told him, मुझे बहुत डर लग रहा है. And then the guy turned back and he said, मुझे भी बहुत डर लग रहा है. मैं अपनी बेटी की अगर दवा नहीं लेना होता तो मैं आज टैक्सी चलाने बाहर कभी नहीं आता. And I think that's what communication does. I would never know what I was. I would not have told him, and vice versa, if we didn't have good communication. And good communication is not just about communicating, is about creating the bond, is about listening, is about empathy, is about understanding. And I think that's what is said. And okay, I will not tell you this story, but I quit at 58 to give it forward. Because if you give it back then to all those good guys who helped me, because like I told you, I come from very humble beginnings, but I can give it forward, and that's why at 58 I took permanent retirement and I spent 1/3 of my term on social work, which is SEVA, which is Self-Employed Women's Association, and another couple of health initiatives. Okay. Okay. So this you can talk. And if you all do mentoring, but do you do reverse mentoring? And if you not, you will be better off doing more reverse mentoring. Okay, I'm going to stop here and go to, yeah. As you see this, you can read it. Made a second presentation. So Anand Mahindra asked me this question that if you were to tell my CEOs what they should do in order to be successful. So, and I said, and therefore this M101 which you see on the screen on that corner, this is the top 101 leaders of Mahindra. And they asked, what Partha you've seen live, you've seen in MNC, you've seen this, and can you give? And then I thought about it and what is this? So I said, and I tell you that I'm going to give you 5 words. 5 words, 5 letters each. Yeah? And if you follow this, I can guarantee you will be successful. Yeah? I can guarantee you will be successful. I can't guarantee about the kismet. Whether the success will give you elevation and you will become, this, but you will be successful. That I can get. Okay? So what are these 5? Okay, so I just used the inspiration of golden ratio. Yeah, how many of you know golden ratio? Yeah, good. At least I saw one hand, so I was not all that bad. So it's a ratio called 1.62. You can read up, but what it says is an object of beauty will be an object of beauty forever, and that all these objects follow that golden ratio. So if you follow the golden ratio, you will never go wrong. And this 5, what I am saying, creates that golden ratio for CEOs. Okay. So design your destiny. So as you move forward to today, what can I do? So the 5 are yield, climb, unmix, fable, and prime. Okay, 5 words, 5 letters each. Okay, and 20, foresight, and also backside. You can look at the real view, you can look at the center. And that's the 2020 that I have put. So the first one is about yield. Okay, yield is about ruthless focus on bottom line. So Maruti, every time it does an ad, right? कितना देती है? So तुम्हारी company कितना देती है? Is there a ruthless focus on the whatever be a measure, whether you want to call it ROC, whether you want to call it ROE, whether you have another measure for it, and how do you make the organization lean and mean? For companies which are struggling, how do you make sure you are not running out of cash? Because otherwise companies will be destroyed. So, and if you do that, what you will ensure is that you will have always an absolute way to win. You will become the cash cow of this industry, and put it very simply, all you have to ensure is less input later, more output sooner. So everything that you do, you help the whole organization to focus on these 4 outputs. What you can, less input, reduce the input that you want for getting the desired output. The second one is input later. How much can you delay? So velocity. Same thing. More output or output sooner. So if you divide into these 4 simple words, you can focus, ruthless focus on your output, which is ROE. And I'll tell you one thing, I joined Tractors ROC was about 18%, okay, and they had very nice thing, 10% ROS and 1.8 times asset turnover, becoming 18%. We focused on ROS and quickly made it to 20%, right? So this took a lot, but we did it. The next one was even more thing. Asset turnover, which was 1.8, we made it 7 by doing just in time, doing this. And some of my friends from Mahindra who are there, I would have seen that. And the ROC in that year became 140% yield. And that 140% at triple digit has survived from that day when we made it till today. It is not something which has happened for 1 year and gone down. And therefore, if you get, and how much did Mahindra grow a share price? 38% year on year for a period of 18 years before it went down, and now it is again on the same trajectory. 38% CAGR, the best NSE stock. And if you have to, you will focus on ROE. So you focus on yield. Okay. So as a CEO, also as a CFO, focus on yield. And this particular thing about minimum 50, margin of safety. This is about saying how do you expand so that even when something falls, your company doesn't go into loss. And for a CEO, this is very important. Zero trauma. Okay. The next one is climb. If you only decide yield will give you today, will make you the hero of today. But if you only focus on today, tomorrow will be gone. So how do you focus on tomorrow? You focus by focusing on climb. So I suggested to people that I need to have evolved business, evolving business and startups. So focus on creating, evolving and startup. And what you need to do is to keep a ratio. I can't do too much startup and so you're gone. So if you earn 120 rupees, 20 keep away for these two categories so that you have at least 100 profit. And that 100 profit can keep increasing year on year. You keep putting something away for evolving and evolving business. So just give you an example. Mahindra and Mahindra tractors first from auto. Second, Mahindra Finance. Third, Tech Mahindra. Fourth, Mahindra Holidays. Fifth, Mahindra Life Spaces. So every time you have to do, and technology also focus. Okay. So if you look at this, where will AI fall? Will it fall in some of this? So it may not be a business, but focusing on all that is emerging. And I am telling you that my slogan, I am on 12 companies, including companies like LIC, NIIT as director. What is my slogan to those companies? AI should give you double your profit or halve your cost. If AI is not doing that for you, you are not using AI properly. So I put the onus back on that, and I am not talking about theory. I am saying cost ko half karke dikhao, ya revenue ko double karke dikhao, or both if you can. But so you ask for the moon, you will get something which you will be delighted with, right? If I aim for 100x, 100x नहीं होता 50x हो जाता तो भी क्या है, तो भी बहुत बड़ी चलन होती. Yeah, so like that. Okay. So the third one that I want to talk about is reducing complexities. Anurag ने मुझसे पूछा कि give me couple of things that CFOs should do to become CEOs. This is, I didn't tell him, I gave him only one, because if I told him, then I would have nothing to present. Okay, because this is what I was presenting. Okay, so I said the third one, reduce complexity, because there are two things that happen with every organization. Yeah, you know, one is complacency, second is complexity. These two kills companies. So when you have complexity killing it, who can reduce? Only the CEO or the CFO can reduce. So focus on reducing complexity. And I tell you, this is not just a theory, it saves cost. We did an exercise in one of the companies that I work for, and we launched a program called Simplicity. They had 7 layers of line of sight from CEO to the customer, and to their utter surprise, they realized that the span of control is 2.4. And you'll all agree that, how many reportees do you have in your list? How many first line reportees?
I have 6.
You have 6. So minimum 6 is, and he's optimized, right? You would have had 10, 12, and then you optimize them. You said, "Mere ko itne zyada nahi chahiye." So that's one of the most, but generally we'll even say 10, 12 we have. So all for the company 2.4. So we just said, why not simplify and make it 4 a span of control? Because I'll manage more. I don't need these many layers. We eliminated 2 layers. And that company that year made 200 crore more profit. Because we eliminated that. So simplicity is not just a good thing to have for employees, it is also a good ROS and ROCE tool for you. So focus on that. Yeah. When you eliminate and say, मैं आज से किसी की expense vouching नहीं करेगा, I will not have 5 people sitting and doing all expense verification. What happens? You save 5 people, no? And associated all costs with it. So bring simplicity. Okay? Sorry, I went ahead, but I have to come back now because this is an important message I forgot. Adds the complex and maze slows the pace. So if you have created a maze, do that. Your employee will be very happy. Your team will be very happy. Your bosses will be very happy, and the organization, and it will be better for others. Okay. The fourth one, which is what I told this, is called fable. Please develop, as if you want to become CEOs, very good stories, narratives that you can tell the world. Our walk to the future is lighted by the stories of the past. And you all tell that stories, right? These are stories that make, what is that? Royal Enfield what it is. Is this that story which makes BMW or Rolls Royce what it is? It is what Tata, it says we are built on trust. That's what it kind of resonates. So these stories we tell. And if I can be honest and say, out of the 3 that are 4 I talked till now, this is our weakest as CFOs. If you want to become CEOs, then please develop these narratives. Help the organization talk. Yeah? And both also your function, bring out the narratives in your function and how it helps. I say that AAA ना पहले कभी आया किसी ऑटो इंडस्ट्री को मिला था ना मिलेगा. Board advised me don't even try, but I got AAA for auto industry, Mahindra and Mahindra. But now many auto industries will have. But I was the first one to get that, and it stands still today. It saves 100 bips for across the group. Yeah, and this is great kind of saving, right? This is a narrative that I talk about. Okay, I've launched the 50-year single bullet repayment bond, which has never been replicated because it's too much of a risk. 50 years, we don't know whether we survive. But I said Mahindra will survive. And therefore, I'm giving you a 50-year bond. And what is more, market lab data. So this is an important thing. And I'm only talking about some finance. But as an organization, if you create this, okay, then don't follow, create for your organization these narratives. Okay? And the last one, which probably comes easier to you, is prime. You have to be the prime. You have to be the partisan. You have to be the keeper of corporate governance in the organization. No CEO worth his salt will ever be good unless he is the torch bearer for corporate governance. And corporate governance has a very wide meaning. It is not absence of corruption. It is the presence of elimination for the organization. Okay, so non-compliance is the triangle which is a normal triangle. Governance is the inverted triangle. When they come together, they form a tara, a star, and that's the Dhruv Tara you have to make it for your organization, which is the North Star every individual from the organization will look at. So don't forget, sustainability is governance. Don't forget that how you treat people and employees are governance. And you can add to the list, because I am not also the custodian or the be-all and end-all of governance. But if you do follow this, then I say that you will get a governance premium, which is why many of your companies enjoy multiples higher than the market multiples. Yeah? Okay? So, to summarize, all you have to do is yield. Next bhi bolo baba. Climb, unmix, fable and prime. and then the destiny is mine. Okay, so I say not only design your destiny, but you need to sign up for this destiny. Thank you. God bless.